All right, next two games we're picking. I know, unfortunately, for all three of us, our teams aren't in these, but the playoffs are here, and one of these four teams that we talk about is going to be the national champion. So let's go ahead and rip the Band-Aid off, fellas. Michigan, Alabama. I know it hurts, but we gotta face it, man. We gotta face it. It is what it is. Michigan has had a drama-filled season, but an undefeated drama-filled season. Talented defense, talented running game. Their quarterback has been playing a little spotty past the last month of the season. He almost cost them a few games, but almost doesn't count. That's what they say. Alabama, on the other hand, took a loss early in the season, started peeling off wins, upset the number one team in the nation in the SEC championship, and upset a number of college football fans by getting into the college football playoff. So we gotta pick one or the other. And you are more than welcome, Jada, to decline if you like still. But I want to know, man. I want to know, Jada, what are your thoughts?
All right, so let me just get mine off for like 30 seconds.
Okay.
You mentioned Jordan Travis, Richard, and we was talking about should these people come back or not. This man said he came back to play, and obviously he got injured. You know who else said they was coming back to play? Um, Jared Verse.
He did.
He said he was coming back to win the championship, and the fact that he was denied that for everything that was outside of his control bothers me even
Yeah.
more than just me wanting Florida State in. He didn't lose. He came back and didn't get it. I'm gonna respect your pod, and I'm going to make a prediction on these games. I don't know if I'm gonna watch them. I'm gonna be honest. I don't know. I still haven't decided
I
if I'm
feel
gonna
you.
watch them. But
I feel you on that.
FSU bias pick, I'm picking Michigan because I think it's going to be a conversation of, dang, Bama maybe shouldn't have been in if they lost to Michigan. And also, I think Jim Harbaugh is going to go on his NCAA tour, which is already started,
Mm,
but it's going to pick up steam. And how else, other than to really solidify that, other than the national championship, is to say we beat y'all lover boy and Nick Saban in Alabama, who probably shouldn't be
mm. I like that. Richard,
in.
I know, man. I know it. I just wanted to rip the Band-Aid off early, man.
As much as I would love Michigan to pull to get the win, hell to the victors. I love to hear it. As much as I hate to say this, the team that shouldn't be there, who stole Florida State spot, Alabama will win, probably win big. Michigan is too one-dimensional. I'm sorry.
Mm, okay, man. That's a lot, Jada. If you've ever watched Richard online, you understand how this is something that no one would ever expect him to do,
Mm.
to pick Alabama to win. Like that's Richard. That's growth. That's what we call growth and maturity. You're you're being, once again, you're proving my point of us being mature, sensible college football fans.
I appreciate
All right,
it.
man. I got to break the tie. Um, I gotta pick Alabama, man. I have to pick Alabama, and the reason why I'm picking Alabama is this: Michigan and Coach Harbs does a they do a horrible job of preparing for teams. If you give them a month, for some odd reason, sign stealing and all of that stuff aside, they do a horrible job of preparing for teams. I just don't think I know that Michigan has a physical team. I know that they're motivated. I know that they had their practice segments called their practice periods called Beat Georgia. They had those where they knew that they would have to face an SEC team to win the championship. I got questions about JJ, their quarterback. I got questions about him. The last month of the season, he didn't look good. He didn't look consistent. He didn't look confident. And that concerns me when you give Nick Saban, who is the greatest college football coach of all time, of modern day, and all that stuff, a lot of us can say,
Hmm.
when you give him 4 weeks to prepare and exploit just that, that's a problem, and that's going to be an issue. And I got Alabama winning. I kind of agree with you, Richard, that it may get ugly. It may get out of hand. So it is what it is. Other semifinal game. And this is going to be an exciting game. I think this is a repeat of last year's bowl. These two faced each other. Texas and Washington, two phenomenal seasons. Texas went into Tuscaloosa and beat Alabama. That's a huge win for Coach Sark. Even though they lost to Oklahoma in a close game, they wound up riding the course, winning the Big 12 and punching their place in the playoff. Washington, on the other hand, undefeated, took care of business, uh, scored on damn near everybody. One of the most explosive passing offenses. Yes, they had a little rough patch for about 2 to 3 weeks, but credit to them, they beat Oregon twice in one season. And it's super difficult to beat a team twice in one season. So credit to them, credit to both of those programs, and shout out to their fan bases, because it's been long overdue for either one of them to be near the top of the mountain of college football. So enough about all that. Richard, I want to know who's going to win, Texas or Washington?
I'm gonna have to go with Texas. I think Texas is their time to get to the national championship. Steve Sarkisian, I think it's
Okay.
his time to be right there at the main event.
I like it. I like it. Jada.
This is going to be about who starts the fastest. Um, I feel like whoever starts the fastest will dictate kind of where it goes. Last pick was emotional because of Florida State. This one ain't gonna be no different. I'm picking Washington, but I will say I'm more confident in this pick than the Alabama, Michigan over Alabama pick, because the last time we seen Penix versus Heisman type QBs, Bo Nix, he's trying to prove a point. The fact that he didn't win, I think adds more fuel to let me go out here and show y'all why y'all made a mistake. So I think
That's a
Penix
good point.
and Washington wins.
That's a good point. I'm gonna, man, this is two of my favorite teams that I've watched all season. Definitely two of my favorites. I'm gonna go on the strength of a listener and one of the homies, Gary, and ride with the Texas Longhorns. Shout out to you, Gary. You came on the
Gary,
podcast for a quick second and talked your talk. You made your shot. You said you didn't care about any of these other programs. It was time for Texas to win the national championship, and you're 2 wins from doing it. So I'm going to say that Texas is going to win. They're going to put together a great game plan. This is two of the best coaches in college football playing.
hmm
I mean, two of the best offensive and defensive coaches. I love their staff. I love Texas staff. I love Washington staff. Um, this is going to be a great game. This is probably going to be the game that I'm just fully locked in and
Yeah.
go into college football nerd mode, because I'm going to be loving what I see out of both of these teams. I think Texas wins. That's what I got. If you haven't already, like, comment, subscribe, and of course, look us up on socials at Suplex Dinner Club. And be sure to check out our other projects. We talk college football on Dogs versus All Y'all. That's a weekly college football podcast where we don't just talk about the Georgia Bulldogs, we talk about all things college football. The Life and Times Pod, which is short for the Life and Times of a Restaurant Lifer podcast, where I have some chill conversations with some cool and interesting people that I've met in my years in the hospitality industry. And of course, check out Talk 'em in the Building. That's a pro wrestling podcast where we solely focus on the promo. We talk about the talkers, we hype the hype man, and we pontificate on the promo. It's a fun project, and if you're a pro wrestling fan, I'm sure you're going to enjoy it. The Suplex Dinner Club family is growing, and I would love for you to be a part of it.